Good day and welcome to this first segment of A Week at the Plot on Tuesday afternoon. It was very mixed weather yesterday and quite cold, and as I had things to do at my desk, I stayed at home and I did things there, which is where I have been much of today. It's now coming up to 2:15 and I have come down to do a specific job, and a specific job that A, I hadn't expected to do, B, I don't really want to do, and C, I wish I had been able to prevent. When I came down here on Friday, I noticed that our Brassica bed, which had been looking absolutely fantastic about 4 weeks ago, apart from some aphids on a couple of leaves, which I squished and got rid of the whole leaf into the compost bin, I saw on Friday that basically the whole bed had become ridden with aphids, to an extent on some of the plants that they are only good for the compost bin. And I've been wondering, why this has happened, but I think what has happened is there's been an extra generation of aphids this year, and they've just taken hold because of the dry weather and then the really wet weather that we had. They've taken hold and refuge underneath the netting of the brassicas, and it's sort of, I think, created like a little haven for aphids. I don't know, but it seems to be a hotbed for aphids. I mean, it really does. Yeah, I look at the plant that we left in the tomato bed, which is a cross between Portuguese cabbage and Nero di Toscana, which has no netting on it and is completely unprotected. There is not a single aphid on that plant. And I've looked at a few others around us, and yeah, it looks as though ours is the only bed that has been completely munched by aphids. When I say completely munched, there are some plants there I think we will be able to rescue, but a good many of them are going to go into our compost bin. I mean, such a disappointment, and also pride comes before a fall, doesn't it? I hope that's true in politics. I was looking at that brassica bed and I was saying jokingly to Vivi when we were with Vivi a few weeks ago, I was saying to her, I'll bring you some Brussels sprouts for Christmas, blah, blah, blah. Won't be doing that this year. I think most of the Brussels have gone. I think a lot of the Portuguese cabbage have gone. Interestingly, the Dazzling Blue Kale seems to be holding up against the aphids. It's a bit breezy out there, but let me just show you what I have found. I've taken the netting off so that we can have a good look. This is a Dazzling Blue Kale here, and there are some aphids on there. But then you look at this Portuguese cabbage. I mean, look at that. Look at it. It's just completely infested. Our Brussels sprouts. Look. Oh, I mean, look. Are there any mealy bugs there? Oh, and then Dazzling Blue Kale. Yep, there are certainly some on there, but nowhere near as many. Portuguese cabbage. look. Oh, Brussels sprouts. I mean, this Dazzling Blue Kale has been got. Portuguese cabbage, Brussels sprout, and will we be able to rescue this Brussels sprout? I mean, it's sort of almost blowing, but maybe we'll be able to take those lower leaves off and let the actual sprouts. And then come here, Dazzling Blue Kale, completely infested. Over there, Dazzling Blue Kale looking pretty good. I think we'll be able to really strip this Portuguese cabbage back. I mean, we'll be able to get some food out of this one, but take all the leaves that have been damaged off and leave this centre to grow, I think. Portuguese cabbage. I mean, look, Portuguese cabbage. You remember in previous years we've had hardly any issues with it. I mean, just look. This is the one that got infested first of all. And I just think that this netting has acted as a fabulous home for the aphids to proliferate. Oh, what a nightmare. Oh, you got to laugh or you'd cry, and at the moment there's other things in the world to cry about, so I'm just going to laugh about these. Laugh with sort of a background of huge disappointment, of course. But yeah, but you know what, I'm going to get on and sort this bed out, and then we can have a look at it afterwards. Right, job done. I'm going to take you in for a closer look because the soil beneath, you can see how powdery it is with, oh, I don't know. I'm going to have to look this up. I think there's mealybugs in there. I think it's aphids, mealybugs. But there's so much sort of powderiness in there that I'm now worried about putting the netting back on. In fact, I don't think I'm going to put the netting back on. No, I don't think I am. It will mean we may get some pigeon damage, but I think the netting is exacerbating, or has been exacerbating, the situation. And I just think it may continue to do so because the soil underneath is mostly sort of, you know, I think if we had a hose, if we didn't have a hose pipe ban, I'd be spraying the rest of these with, you know, jetting them with water to get as much off as possible. But of course we've got a hose pipe ban, so I can't do that. And a watering can isn't really going to have the requisite force to knock what is remaining on the leaves off. But I might have a go at that anyway. But let's have a closer look. I think from this angle you can see the white markings on the top of the soil, and those are really where there's been a greater propensity of those bugs and aphids. But hey ho, I've cut them down to the ground like I did with the tomatoes. I'm going to have a read up on what I think this might be. But yeah, for the moment, I'm definitely just going to leave it open. I mean, I suppose the other thing is, of course, that ladybirds and things like that weren't able to get in and eat the aphids. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's my fault. Though I do think the sort of fake netting that we got may not have helped. But you can see the ones that have been less affected are the Dazzling Blue Kale. I mean, that's quite clear. You can see this is a Portuguese cabbage. I've sort of taken all the leaves off. But even in here, you can see there's plenty of aphids in there. I think I will... Yeah, look, there's a mealybug there. Yeah, I think the mealybugs. Anyway, I think I will have a go with my watering can anyway. It's not as powerful as a hose, but a good splosh I think may help to dislodge some, and then of course the horrible thing of rubbing will also dispel some more. But yeah, look at that. Look at the sort of powderiness, the whiteness on that soil compared to where there's been, because this is not quite so infected with aphids, but you can see how this Brussels sprout completely covered the soil is completely covered in that sort of whiteness. Hey ho. Right, yes, I'm going to do the best I can. Oh, look at this poor bed now. Look at it. Pride before a fall, as they say. Well, I've said it before and I may say it again. What a terrible year it has been for us growing on this plot. I mean, really, you know, I was so looking forward to fantastic brassicas to take us through to March, April time, and then the other Portuguese cabbage that we've got as seedlings would then take over from those. But by doing what we've done today, taking out the plants that were not going to survive that aphid attack, we've effectively removed 2/3 of a potential harvest. But of course, it's a potential harvest that wasn't going to come to fruition anyway. So hopefully by taking out the really infected plants and taking off the infected leaves and putting those into the compost bin where they'll die off and decompose, and then we can use that compost for growing other things another year, maybe not us but somebody else, it's giving those plants that are remaining in the ground a fighting chance. You know, those 10, 11, 12 that are there, they have been stripped back, as you have seen, particularly the remaining Portuguese cabbage, which are only about 2 or 3 plants. But yeah, what a year, what a year. And we're in a fortunate position. You know, we are earning money each month in our jobs, you know, our jobs that we have. We're not high wage earners by any means, we're low wage earners, but we earn enough to be able to go to the shop and buy vegetables, you know, cabbages and kale at the shop. You know, okay, it won't be as fresh as we get here, and it's likely to have had herbicides and pesticides on it. We don't have the money to buy organic. I would love to, but we're no longer in that position where we can buy everything organically. In fact, most of the things that we buy are not organic. So yeah, you know, we're in that fortunate position. We can go to the shop. We're not like you know, people like Vivi who live significantly off their growing spaces, or people who've got homesteads who eat solely off what they grow and what they rear. You know, we're not like that. Somebody did ask me a question, you know, do you live off, you know, significantly off what you grow? No is the answer, and this year particularly no. But yeah, by taking those brassicas out that have been infected, we're giving the others a fighting chance, even where we have stripped them really quite a lot back. So yeah, that was a real disappointment on Friday when I saw that. And then we had a house guest on Saturday and Sunday, who you may have heard in the background when I was doing taking out the tomatoes, or you may not, I can't remember. And then yesterday I was at home. So today was the first chance I had to come down here and do that. And I have decided I'm going to leave the nets off. Leave the nets off, let any birds get to those and peck. Hopefully not pigeons that will come and do a lot of damage. But I do think that cocooning them in that net again at the moment will just start that whole process again. So we've got a few cold days coming up. We're in them at the moment. We've got some good cold nights coming, maybe one or two more before it starts warming up a little again. So hopefully that will inhibit the growth, because of course the netting does act as a, you know, it holds in the heat. So yeah, anyway, there we are. Brassicas out, and we have some more brassicas to go in, but I'm going to have to read up because I don't think it's sensible to put any into that bed. No, I don't think so. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. As I was coming down here, it was bright sunshine and blue skies with white clouds, and then within a matter of 20 minutes it's become really quite overcast. We had 5 degrees last night, and over the coming nights it's going to be a little warmer than that, so that's good. And I remembered that in this area here I'd forgotten to sow the chard, a very late sowing of chard, Whether it will come to anything or not, I don't know. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. I have noticed that on these turnips, there's a few holes in the leaves, which I think is flea beetle. So I'm going to give those a bit of a spray with neem oil. So that's a few drops, like a teaspoon of neem oil in a couple of litres of water. So yeah, I'm going to do that. And I'll also do that on the brassicas that we saw the other day. They're doing okay, the ones that have been left. They're uncovered and they haven't been pecked by pigeons as yet. I'll see how they go over the coming week and maybe cover them again. But yes, I've sown chard here today, and all I did was give the whole bed a hoe because there were a few weeds coming up. So I've given it a hoe. Then you saw me make the shallow drill with my trowel, sowed the seed, and then covered it up with the trowel and patted it down with the trowel. And then obviously a really good water, 2 waters 30 minutes apart. So I know that the water I have put down will get down to that seed and start the germination process, hopefully. Right, I'm going to leave that here for today. I'm going to carry on doing work down here, but I'm not going to take you with me. It's just going to be taking out weeds in certain areas and tidying and plotting what needs to be done. I'm going to be down here a good couple of hours, so I hope to get quite a bit sorted in that time. See you very soon. Bye. Good day and welcome to a brand new month. It's October the 1st, and not only the start of a new month, but for me also the start of a brand new growing year. As many of you know, my growing year I count as from October to September. And as I was looking in my shed and the polytunnel, I noticed these seeds that I still needed to sort out. So on this side here, we have Shaz's Black Scarlet Emperor runner beans. So these were beans that we received from Shaz of the Kingstone 8, and they were bog standard Scarlet Emperor runner beans that she had saved. Over the years, we just grew them, and then last year, quite a few of them came out with black seeds, which was unusual. And this year I have solely sown and grown the black Scarlet Emperor runner beans that grew last year. So I saved the seeds and I've grown those. So it'll be interesting to see if any of these have reverted. I can see here, this one is opening, look, and they're black inside, so that will be interesting. And then at the top here, we've got the Portuguese cabbage cross with a Nero di Toscana, and I took those off. They went to seed earlier this year and I've let them dry in this paper bag, and I just need to basically take away all the chaff and the stalks and see what seeds we've got left, because we will be sowing those to see if they come true to the cross that grew this year. And then in this paper envelope we have the London Market carrot seed heads. They have dried quite significantly now and need a good scrunching up. So yeah, I'm just going to get on and start sorting these out. But as it's quite blustery out here, I'm going to do it in the shed. First we'll do the runners. Oh, look at those white ones. Oh look, normal ones. More normal ones. Well, I know that's not a close-up picture, but maybe you can see that. There's black, there's the standard, so there's black there, standard colour of a runner bean, and then white. I never expected white. Let's just sort of sort them out a bit. So I think we can see there that most of these are black. Then next is the reversion, and then we have white over here, which I certainly never expected. That's fascinated me completely. Yeah, definitely. It's getting a bit breezy out here. I'm going to go back in the shed. Next up, carrots. So those are the seeds in there. This is going to need winnowing like we did with the lettuce seeds. Just rub them, get all the seed out. It's a bit too breezy to do winnowing today. Might do it in the back garden next week. Let's just give that a little blow. I only think that's a tiny bit better. But yeah, I'm going to put that in a jar and then take it home. So these are the London Market carrots. Okay, so all of that is seed pod, and then here you can see the seeds. Let me just get rid of these seed pods and then pop them in a jar. I suddenly realised as I was having my hair blown about outside that actually the wind that we've got today, or the breeze, the strong breeze we have today, might help me do the winnowing of some of the seeds. So I have done the carrot seeds, which I think you've seen if that footage comes out. And though I did have to give a blow as well, so it was a bit of natural wind going across and a bit of me blowing as well and just agitating the seed. And then I also did the Brassica seed, the Portuguese cabbage crossed with the Nero di Toscana. And yeah, I mean, these are really clean, because carrot seeds, when they're in their natural sort of immediately harvested state, are a bit sort of prickly and a bit hairy. These have got more chaff on them than these, because these are nice and shiny and smooth, and these are sort of hairy. But you know what, I'm not selling these are my own seed, and any of the chaff that is still in here, when we do sow them, it'll just break down into the soil as they germinate and as they grow, or hopefully as they germinate, obviously. So yeah, both of these will be going into the fridge when I get home. Whether we'll grow any in this new growing year for me, this new growing season, whole year, I'm not sure. But I mean, I suppose if the weather is good in March and we sow early in March, then there's no reason why I shouldn't sow some of each of these. So some of the London Market carrot and some of the Portuguese cabbage Nero di Toscana cross. So yeah, fingers crossed on those. And let me just pick them up. Shaz's Black Scarlet Emperor runner beans, as we sowed and grew this year. I never expected any of those seeds to come out white. I just didn't. I don't know. I mean, I just didn't. I thought they would revert to the standard runner bean seed, which is this one here, the sort of mauvey purpley black one. You know, that's standard Scarlet Emperor runner bean seed. And what we sowed, if you remember, is we sowed the black seed that was in last year's harvest, and I have no idea why it went to black. And what we've ended up with this year is reversion, going to standard Scarlet Emperor runner bean seed, black, which is what we actually sowed, and then these white ones. I mean, I just never expected we would end up with white seeds. And you know, I'm quite happy with those seeds. And yeah, they'd be quite good to cook with, but of course we don't have very many of them. So I can feel another year of growing and experimentation coming on at some point. So next year I will likely keep the white ones for growing in a future year, and sow half of the black ones that we have here today as fresh seed for growing next year, because we're not sure how long we're going to be here, and I want to make sure that I have some seed that if we don't get to harvest them next year, we have seed for the following year. You know, this is something I've said before. When you're harvesting seeds, when you're saving seeds to grow on your own veg or flowers in future years, do make sure that you save enough for a good couple of years, because then you don't have to save every year. However, if you know that you're going to be growing in the same spot every year for maybe a decade or more, it's good to sow every year and harvest and save seed every year, because that seed that you save and then sow and then grow and then harvest and save, blah blah blah, will acclimatize to your area year on year. So yeah, but you know what, I'm absolutely fascinated by these white ones. I really am. I was fascinated by the black ones last year. This year I'm fascinated by the white ones. Right, I'm going to leave it there for this week's A Week at the Plot. It looks as though it's going to be very rainy tomorrow, so I don't think I will be doing much work on the plot. However, I do need to be down here because we are giving out new keys for a new padlock we are having for the main gate of the allotment site. So we've got tenants this morning and tomorrow morning coming down, giving in their old keys and taking their new ones. So I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. I will be doing it in the communal shed because it looks as though it's going to be raining. So I'll leave it here for this week, and I will see you again very soon on Planet Vegetaria for more segments. And of course, in a week's time, I'll be back with another A Week at the Plot upload on YouTube. If you've got any comments, any questions, whatever, please do put them down below and I will get back to you. And I hope wherever you are, because you may be in the southern hemisphere, you're starting off your growing season, or in the northern hemisphere where we are coming to the end, or for me, come to an end, but most people coming to an end and doing their tidying up of things and then waiting for their squash to be harvested, of course. Yeah, wherever you are, I hope you're enjoying what you're doing, and I will see you very soon. And now I'm just going to sit here, look out the door and watch the sunflowers dancing in the wind. See you very soon. Bye.